Sunday morning. Time to take a spin around the NFL. This is You Better You Bet, presented by BetMGM. Here's your host, Nick Kostos.
What's up, everybody? Happy and merry Week 13 NFL Sunday to you and yours. This is You Better You Bet on the Fan. Nick Kostos here with you for the next 60 minutes, talking all things betting and fantasy. Week number 13 in the National Football League. You can hit me up on Twitter if you want. Twitter is kind of like a hellscape these days. You can hit me up on Instagram at the Kostos, TheKostos, making a concerted effort to post more content there. Look, the more people that follow me on Instagram, the less I have to ask you to follow me. So hit me up on Instagram at the Kostos, TheKostos. The show is on Twitter at You Better You Bet. And the show presented today and always by BetMGM. Make it legendary by downloading the BetMGM app and visiting BetMGM.com. The phone number today to chime in on bets, on fantasy, on football. 888-808-1019, 888-808-1019. All right, you know how we do. Nick Kostos and you, each and every NFL Sunday morning here on The Fan. Side total and props for every game on the board in the fastest show in all of Wagertainment. Bring it up, Eddie. Yes. Yes. Who is ready? Football. And the show starts right now. And it begins with a quick shout out to Aaron Judge's biggest fan, Staten Island's own, Greg Rupp. Have a great Sunday of football, Greg. And it begins with a holiday greeting from me to you. I hope everybody out there, including the haters, of which there are many. And by the way, to the haters, you guys help pay my bills. I'm going to take my family on a very expensive vacation, probably to Palm Beach next year. I appreciate all the haters. Thank you very much. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, great holiday weekend with food, family, friends, and of course, arguing around the Thanksgiving table about Zoran Mamdani. Happy holidays, everybody. And the show officially begins in Cleveland with the 49ers and the Browns. San Francisco, a 5-point road favorite. Total in this game, 35.5. And all of a sudden, the NFC playoff picture as a result of the games that we saw on Thanksgiving and Black Friday, the NFC playoff picture getting very, very, very interesting with the Chicago Bears absolutely pounding the Eagles in Philadelphia on Black Friday. The Bears will enter December first place in the NFC North. I would say I didn't see that coming, but I bet the Bears to win the division before the start of the season. I also bet Minnesota. We don't need to talk about that. The Bears beat the Eagles on Black Friday. We saw Dallas upset Kansas City, which was a terrible result for yours truly. That was my favorite bet of Thanksgiving or Black Friday. But Dallas is absolutely surging now, going to try and make a push at either the NFC East or a wild card spot, obviously. And Green Bay with a big win in Detroit as the Lions continue to scuffle. Amon-Ra St. Brown, low ankle sprain, could be out a couple weeks. And Green Bay percolating a little bit here. So this NFC playoff picture is fascinating. And as far as San Francisco is concerned, Week 17, Niners against the Bears could end up being for a playoff spot in the NFC. That game will be in the Bay Area. San Francisco in this game, a 5-point favorite. Again, the total, 35.5. Pretty clear injury game here. Shadur Sanders will get another start for Cleveland. We are expecting heavy winds in this game. Not too many games we'll have to talk about today have weather concerns, but this will be one of them. And I'm just doing a quick refresh of my screen here. We are going to have snow on the ground, winds about 20 mile per hour plus. So obviously, what we always say here, on the WFAN show early Sunday morning. Make sure either you are monitoring the weather, which is easy as Googling Cleveland weather today, or you can check out my national show starting at 11 a.m. Eastern to see if the weather is going to be really bad. Obviously, that would hurt the passing games here. Snow does not hurt offenses. Snow actually helps offenses. Offensive players know where they're going before the snap. Defensive players don't. So if it's just snow and not a lot of wind, I think we can expect more scoring in this game than the market expects, 35.5 the total. It's going to be wind that potentially screws the offenses up. Tons of storylines in this game. And let's start with the Cleveland Browns. As Shedeur Sanders last week becomes the first Browns, this sounds like a made-up stat, it's not, becomes the first Browns quarterback since former Georgia Bulldog into the SEC title game, congratulations to them, Eric Zier. Remember him? We didn't start the Zier. I just came up with that on the spot. Back in 1995 to win his first start as a Cleveland Brown. We haven't seen it happen since the Browns returned to the league in 1999. A Browns quarterback win his first start. So congratulations to Shedeur Sanders on the victory. But to everybody, and this is not even what I'm about to say. It's not meant to be like an anti-Shedeur Sanders thing, but like we have to call a spade, we have to be honest. Because everybody wants to crown Shedeur Sanders now. Wow, look at Shedeur. Look at this win for Cleveland. He made like one good throw in the game. It was a good throw to Isaiah Bond, who likes his martinis shaken, not stirred. It was a good throw by Shedeur Sanders, but let's be real. The Browns sacked Geno Smith 10 times in the game. The Raiders' offense impotent to the point that they fired Chip Kelly, who they were paying $6 million a year to coordinate a terrible offense. You could have put so many of these Browns quarterbacks from the last 30 years under center, and they would have won their first start. Let me ask you all a question. Would my friend Brady Quinn have won that game last week for the Browns? Definitely. Would Charlie Fry have won that game? Tim Couch? Brandon Whedon? Hell, what about Johnny Manziel? And for the people watching on YouTube right now, you're getting a special treat because I'm doing the money hand signal. Anyway, let's just pause on crowning Shedeur Sanders here after that game last week against the Raiders. As for the Niners quarterback, man, Monday night was such a bleep show for Niners quarterback Brock Purdy, who has not been good since coming back from turf toe. To me, and I'm not a huge Brock Purdy guy, but he does not look healthy to me. And I wonder if he struggles in this game, will we see Mac Jones at any point for the Niners? Not because I think Mac Jones is better than Purdy. Purdy's better than Mac Jones. All of that talk about quarterback controversy, like Brock Purdy almost won the Super Bowl. There is no quarterback controversy, but Purdy does not look healthy to me. And that's one of the reasons why, in addition to the wins, in addition to Myles Garrett being 5 sacks away from breaking the sack record with 6 to play, going to win Defensive Player of the Year on a terrible football team, credit to him, that we have seen the betting market move towards the Cleveland Browns. This was 6 earlier in the week. We saw it 6.5 on Monday. We saw it drop to 4.5. Now back up at 5 here on game day. And again, we still have to see what the weather has to hold in this game. But as it stands right now, I would actually only bet the Browns here. And it's nothing to do with Shedeur Sanders and everything to do with Myles Garrett and Mason Graham and Carson Schlesinger. And if you don't know who these guys are, besides for Myles Garrett, you will. The Browns have awesome young players on their defense. It has everything to do with the struggles of Brock Purdy and how well this Browns defense is playing in a potential win game where I don't know if I trust Purdy. And look, I don't trust Shedeur Sanders, but I don't need Shedeur to win the game. I need the Browns to lose by four or less, basically, to cover the spread here. Now, it's not my favorite bet of the day. It's a small bet for me on the Browns. I actually have a pretty light betting card today. Props I like, and anytime touchdowns I like. Sides and totals, bit of a lighter card. Lean for me towards the Browns. Lean for me towards the under, but we're going to need more information on the wind as we approach kickoff. Who would have thunk it, right? Cleveland right off the lake on November 30th. Wind in the forecast and inclement weather. Who would have thunk it? So lean for me towards the under, and a small bet for me on the Cleveland Browns plus the points. All right. Get some props going here. The Browns pass catcher that leads the team in catches and receiving yards since Shedeur Sanders took over at quarterback. your favorite DJ's favorite DJ. Fannin. Harold Fannin, over 33.5 receiving yards. And anytime touchdowns. Just a quick shout out to the Browns rookie class. I mentioned Graham, Schweschinger, Quinshon Judkins. We'll talk more about him in the fantasy segment coming up later in this hour. How about their other rookie running back with the they got to get this guy the ball more. I sound like John Gruden there. There's this guy, Dylan Sampson, with that explosive touchdown run. And you know, whenever we have a bet on anybody named Sampson, we say, bitch, you know what I want? I want to talk to Sampson. Fly me to the moon. Shout out to Half-Baked. Dylan Sampson, anytime touchdown for the Cleveland Browns. Okay, we move to the AFC South. As the 7-4 how is Jacksonville 7-4? I bet them to make the playoffs before the year. I'm shocked that they're 7-4. That was like a kind of a humble brag that I made a bet that might win. You're welcome. I lose plenty of bets. Just look at Thanksgiving. I love the Chiefs. Jacksonville, a 6-point road favorite at the Tennessee Titans. Total in the game is being bet up over the course of the morning. We're now up to 42. Brian Thomas Jr. will return to this game for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I would never, ever say, because I'm way too nice of a guy, I would never say that I hope Brian Thomas Jr. has a terrible Christmas. I would never say that just because he sunk my imaginary football teams, plural, not teams. I would never say that I hope he has a terrible Christmas. I'm way too nice a guy. He will play today for Jacksonville. For Tennessee, Chig Okonkwo and Alec Iamaner, stately Wayne Iamaner, will play for the Titans. They've kind of got something a little interesting cooking here with Cam Ward and these rookie receivers. Because very quietly, Cam Ward, you know, the number 1 overall pick in the draft, and former Conn Smythe winner for the Carolina Hurricanes and Stanley Cup champion goaltender. Cam Ward, you are a real one if you get that reference. Cam Ward is starting to play a lot better in what has been this season an impossible situation for him, with curtain-jerking jabronis all around him on offense, a head coach to start the year who didn't know the rules and couldn't manage situational football in Brian Callahan, and now here's Mike McCoy as the interim head coach. The real son. But he's starting to play a lot better. And they backdoored the game last week against Seattle. Mine's out of the gutter, people. We're talking point spreads off a holiday weekend. Come on, everybody. Cam Ward is actually starting to play a lot better. And because of that, we have seen a move down in the betting market here. From Jacksonville, a 7-point favorite to open last week. Now we are down to -6. And it's not just because of Cam Ward. Jacksonville keeps winning games, and Jacksonville is a favorite to make the playoffs right now at BetMGM, -325. So the expectation is the Jags will be an AFC playoff team. But they are not exactly impressive in these wins. Now, all that matters in the NFL is wins and losses, right? And there are no medals for trying, as Jerry Eisenberg famously wrote in 1989. So you give the Jaguars credit for winning these games. But they are not dominating teams. They did dominate the Chargers a few weeks ago, but a lot of these wins are close for the Jaguars. And if you want to lay this number with Jacksonville, and I'm not saying the bet can't win, you have to ride the Trevor coaster with Trevor Lawrence, who's got phenomenal 99th percentile hair. But prone to mistakes, prone to like a couple of great plays also. He's just not really trustworthy. There's no way I want to lay the points with the Jaguars. I also can't really get there on Tennessee because the Tennessee's horrible. And Jacksonville is better, hence the 6-point road favorite. I actually agree with the market movement this morning towards the over, which is a bet on Cam Ward playing well without having to bet the Titans, and I kind of like that. So a small bet for me on over 42 is now the number in the game. Over 42 with the Jags and the Titans. Like I said, bit of a lighter card for me this morning on sides and totals for games today. And we'll get to the Monday night game, which I like, with the Giants and the Patriots. Props in this game. Parker Washington, with Brian Thomas Jr. back, I don't think his role affected at all. He'll be Jacksonville's slot receiver, 7 targets last week. Parker Washington, George's great-grandson. I don't know if I got the number of greats right. Whatever. Parker Washington over 33.5 receiving yards. Anytime touchdowns. I've got 2. With Brenton home on the Strange, back for Jacksonville. Johnny Munt, Munt Cake. He's now the backup, but he got a couple targets last week. Johnny Munt, anytime touchdown for Jacksonville. And with Tennessee, we like Chimere DK, rookie receiver. We like Alec Iamaner. And their rookie tight end is quietly playing very well also. Gunnar Helm, a.k.a. Helm's Deep, which is a great scene from Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, which is the best Lord of the Rings movie. I would never, ever, ever in a million years sit and watch one of those movies again. But I'm happy I saw them when they first came out. Gunnar Helm and Johnny Munt, anytime touchdowns for the Jags and the Titans. We will remain in the AFC South. And this division is heating up. Need the NBA Jam voice there. It's heating up. With the Colts and the Texans. Indy, a 3.5-point home favorite. Total in the game, 44.5. Now, in case you missed it, and you might have, because, there was it's a holiday weekend. Daniel Jones, former Giants quarterback, has a fracture in his fibula, but Shane Steichen, Colts head coach, declared him, quote, good to go. Direct quote, which feels to me like saying General Leo from Final Fantasy VI, good to go after his battle with Kefka, which doesn't pass the smell test for yours truly here. But Daniel Jones is going to start for the Indianapolis Colts. This needs to be monitored for fantasy players. Tyler Warren, Indy stud rookie tight end, added to the injury report yesterday with an illness. We're expecting him to play. I don't think he's in significant danger of missing, but make sure you're checking at 11:30 a.m. Eastern when the actives and inactives come out. If you're in a playoff push and you've got Tyler Warren, make sure you've got a backup plan at least in mind in lieu of actually picking someone up in case Tyler Warren is a surprise inactive in this game. Again, questionable with an illness added to the injury report yesterday. For Houston, C.J. Stroud returns. Davis Mills went 3-0 in his stead. That's a great backup quarterback for you. So as far as the handicap of this game goes, the best unit in this game, maybe by a lot, and that says something given how good the Colts offense has been for the balance of the season, is the Houston Texans defense, which might be, and there are a couple really good ones, the Texans might have the best defense in the league overall this year. Maybe better than Denver, maybe better than Seattle. The Eagles' defense looks like it's collapsed as of late. Houston's defense is unreal, coming off an 8-sack performance of Josh Allen last Thursday night. This Texans defense has got it going on right now. And C.J. Stroud is back now for the Texans offense. And Houston at 6-5, Jacksonville at 7-4, Indy at 8-3. This division now way more interesting than it was about a month ago. And the Colts absolutely blew it last week on the road in Kansas City. And it feels like Shane Steichen, who's done a great job this year as Colts head coach and play caller, that he froze up a little bit in the fourth quarter. He admitted as such that he should have ran the ball more with Jonathan Taylor down the stretch. So we've now seen in Shane Steichen's coaching career, like 2 really, really, really critical games. His first year against the Texans in a win-and-in game for the AFC South, when on the final play of the game for the Colts in their season, Gardner Minshew threw the ball not to Jonathan Taylor, but Tyrell Goodson, who dropped the ball. Ridiculous. And Steichen blew that one, and then he blew it last week as well. Which doesn't mean that he's a big game choker, just that I'm watching you, Shane Steichen. Market directionally moving towards the Texans all week, which should not surprise anyone given the fact that Daniel Jones has a fracture in his fibula. And I agree with the movement. And if the number is going to be above 3, I do like the Houston Texans here. This actually stands out, I think, as my favorite bet of the day. I don't really love anything today. I liked a lot on Thanksgiving. I like a bet tomorrow with the Giants and Patriots. We'll get to that. Texans plus 3.5 profiles as my favorite bet of the day. It has to be 3.5, not 3. And if you like the Colts, I can be wrong. As you know, if you listen to the show, watch the show, find a 3 and lay the 3 with Indianapolis. Yardage props. How good is Texans rookie receiver Jaden Hollywood Higgins? I tried to tell you. He's showing up, he's showing out, he's scoring touchdowns. Tough matchup to hear against Indy with their corners, but we'll see Sauce Gardner on Nico Collins in this game. We'll talk about that with the fantasy segment, which should free things up for Jaden Higgins, even against a tough corner in Trevarius Ward. I do like Higgins over 36.5 receiving yards. And I love me some Alec Pierce for Indy, over 47.5 receiving yards. There is risk with that if Daniel Jones can't power the ball down the field. I'll take that risk. You have free will, the listener or viewer. Do whatever the hell you want. Anytime touchdowns. The Texans are starting to run more multiple tight end sets. So let's take a play, not on Dalton Schultz, but on Russell's grandson, Cade Stover. Decent chocolates. And Jalen Noel, the Texans' rookie slot receiver who splits time with Christian Kirk. And in lieu of singing the song, I will just add that my favorite rendition of the first Noel is by the late, great Andy Williams, who also does the best version of Oh Holy Night. And that's important to say because it might be the best overall religious Christmas song. Anyway, Dolphins and the Saints in Miami as Miami comes off the bye. Dolphins a 5.5-point home favorite in this game. The total bet up to 42. Alvin Kamara is out for the Saints. Devin Neal, Lorenzo's son. We've been telling you for months to stash Devin Neal on your bench in fantasy. Hopefully you've got him. You can definitely play him today. He will be New Orleans' number one running back. Darren Waller is expected to play for Miami. We won't know for sure until 11:30 a.m. Eastern. And Chris Olave is expected to play. Questionable on the injury report. All the insider tweets overnight say that Chris Olave will play for the New Orleans Saints. Now, the last time we saw the Miami Dolphins, it was the Madrid game against the Washington Commanders. And if you've forgotten about that game, God bless you, because it was horrible. Horrible game management, horrible play. Honestly, it's the worst offense committed by Americans in Spain since the Spanish-American War. It was absolutely, absolutely terrible. Brutal. The New Orleans Saints are setting up as an interesting team build here moving forward in the NFL. They're trying to find out if Tyler Shuck can be their franchise quarterback. I'll say I think he's been pretty decent. He hasn't shown enough to be the guy, but he has been pretty decent. And we'll see what Kellen Moore and company do in the future with New Orleans. I do think that they're interesting. And for Miami, the question, can Mike McDaniel actually keep his job? He keep his job. Seemed unfathomable just a couple weeks ago, but they're 5.5-point favorites in this game. If they win, they're 5-7. They're at the Jets next week. They'll be favored in that game most likely. They could be 6-7. That's respectable. We might see Mike McDaniel keep his job. I was hoping he could be maybe Giants offensive coordinator in a new regime. We'll see. It seems like Mike McDaniel at 50-50 at worst, I think, to keep his job right now as Dolphins head coach. Now, can the Miami Dolphins win this game? Of course. I think that Miami is likely to win. But I would never lay 5.5 with Miami. Something that I think we have to remember about the Miami Dolphins, and this is important, they're bad. And it's not that the Saints are good, it's just that the point spread's a little big. Now at 5.5, I don't have interest in betting New Orleans. 6 would be a buy point for me with the Saints. And if you're wondering, what's the difference between 5.5 and 6? Well, moron. I'm sure you're a very nice person. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Think about how the scoring in the NFL works. Games don't really land 5, but they land 6, right? So there's a huge difference between betting plus 5.5 and betting 6. And that was where this game opened, and it got bet down from 6 to 5.5, so people agree with me. If it went back up to 6, I would take the New Orleans Saints plus 6 at 5.5. No bet. Yardage props. Jalen Waddle over a nice 69.5 receiving yards. Love that. And keep in mind that last week, Falcons Saints, Darnell Mooney got off the schneid with a long touchdown. So if Darnell Mooney can do it, Jalen Waddle certainly can. Anytime touchdowns. We're seeing Mason Tipton play a lot more for the Saints. He actually caught a touchdown from Tyler Shuck in the preseason. And I would also look at Ollie Gordon, Commissioner's son, anytime touchdown for Miami, who does profile as their goal line back. Devon Achane is obviously the main running back and the fulcrum of that offense along with Waddle. We'll talk about Achane in the fantasy segment coming up. All right, Jets fans, let's talk about your team as the Atlanta Falcons come to town. Atlanta, a 3-point road favorite at the Jets, total 38.5. Drake London is out once again for the Falcons, screwing fantasy teams nationwide, including mine. This is the worst offense committed by London to Americans, honestly, since the War of 1812. Drake, we need you on the field, buddy. Kirk Cousins starts for the Falcons with Michael Penix out for the season, and no, I do not like that. The Jets entered this game relatively healthy. Hang the banner, Woody Johnson. We love that. Tyrod Taylor, another starter quarterback for the Jets. I have to say, I am fascinated to watch. I am mesmerized by this Jets receiving group. And I don't mean that sarcastically. I actually mean it. I like the approach of Darren Muji. I like the approach of Aaron Glenn. Like, you're getting a couple former second-round picks. Like, John Mechie was not a bust. John Mechie had leukemia and had to miss a season for the Houston Texans. He was awesome at Alabama. A.D. Mitchell has all the talent in the world. We saw it at Texas and flashes with the Indianapolis Colts. And you're able to buy low on both these guys. Mitchell comes over in the Sauce trade. You get John Mechie from the Eagles, right? I like both these guys. I'm not saying that they're all pros, like this is Jerry Rice and John Taylor, but I like both guys. And I like Tyrod Taylor throwing them the ball, not to win games potentially, but I think they could be fun in fantasy, fun with yardage props, and maybe these can be part of your receiver foundational core moving forward, along with Garrett Wilson and obviously rookie tight end Mason Taylor. And I'm not joking, like I mean that sincerely. I'm actually, and I think Jets fans don't really share my optimism. I'm actually optimistic long-term about this team. Like, they stink this year, obviously, but I'm optimistic with the war chest of picks that they have. I think the Jets could be setting themselves up to be really good a couple years from now. I can be wrong. They can screw it up. They can draft the wrong guys. But I think if you're a Jets fan right now, I think you should be optimistic. Now, if you're a Falcons fan, you should be pessimistic, because this season's an absolute train wreck. Somewhere right now, my friend Sal Licata is listening. Sal, Falcons fan. And Sal, I know you're pissed, and you should be, because your team stinks. And they're blowing a golden opportunity to potentially win this division with the Bucs absolutely struggling here. Atlanta needs to fire everybody. And that takes us to the potential bet for the game. The point spread's 3. Like, here's Kirk Cousins favored by 3 on the road. I can't get there. I would bet Jets if I had to bet the game. I don't really want to bet the Jets, but it's the Jets or nothing here with the point spread being at 3. If you want to do something with Atlanta, put Atlanta in a money line parlay. I would not lay 3 with the Falcons on the road. I can be wrong. Bijan can go off. Tyler Algier can go off. But it's Kirk Cousins favored by 3 on the road in the year of our Lord, 2025. Jets or pass for me in this game. Yardage props. You know where I'm going. I love me some A.D. Mitchell. A.D. Mitchell over 35.5 receiving yards. Anytime touchdowns. Tyler Algier for Atlanta. Alan Lazard for the New York Jets. Bucks and the Cardinals in Tampa. Bucks, a 3.5-point home favorite. Total in the game, 44.5. Baker Mayfield will start for Tampa, despite the fact that we all saw him last Sunday night at halftime with his left shoulder hanging off out of the socket like a wet noodle. Shoulder sprain for Baker Mayfield on his non-throwing shoulder. He will start, could be compromised in this game. Bucky Irving is back for Tampa, so get him back in your fantasy lineups, although we are expecting him to be eased into the lineup for Tampa. Do not expect a full workload today for Bucky Irving. Things can change. The Bucs need this game, but that's all the reporting from Bucs beat reporters, national insiders, fantasy types, to not expect that full workload today from Bucky Irving. And for Tampa's defense, Jamel Dean, their best corner, and Hassan Reddick, the chronicles of, their best pass rusher, both are questionable, both are expected to play. This matters a lot if you want to bet the game. We won't know for sure until 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Trey Benson out for Arizona with lots of music in the air and lots of loving everywhere. Give me the night. And get back on the field, please, Trey. We need you. Amari DiMercado out as well. Another game for BAM night for Arizona at running back. Marvin Harrison Jr. back in the lineup for Arizona. And the Cardinals, a fun team. Jacoby Brissett in his last 3 starts, averaging 50 pass attempts per game. And if Jamel Dean doesn't go, I think they're going to throw all over this Buccaneers secondary. And Baker Mayfield's not healthy. I actually think you're going to see Cardinals head coach Jonathan Calamity Ganondorf. Pick your favorite version of Ganon from Zelda. I would probably go with Calamity Ganon from Breath of the Wild. Great game. Even if Link to the Past has a special place in my heart because I played it as a child. Anyway, I think he's going to come back because of the way Arizona's offense has looked with Kyler Murray not playing, which is a story for the offseason, but I find it interesting, and this is an NFL show. So there you go. If I had to bet this game right now, I would take the 3.5 with Arizona, but again, we got to know if Jamel Dean's playing. We have to know if Hassan Reddick is playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yardage props. Marvin Harrison Jr., hell yeah, over 48.5 receiving yards. Anytime touchdowns. Let's go with former Giants legend, Sybil's son, Sterling Shepard. Anytime touchdown. And I have a note on Bucs receivers coming up for the fantasy segment that you will not want to miss. It's actually not that interesting unless you're a huge fantasy nerd, but I'm guessing you are if you like the show. Rams and the Panthers in Carolina. Rams, a 10.5-point road favorite. Total in the game is 45. For the Panthers, stud corner J.C. Horn. Jets fans, remember him from a couple weeks ago. J.C. Horn is out, which is not good going up against Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. And right now, I think we can say, at this moment, and things in the ultimate week-to-week league, the NFL, things are always subject to change. Right now, the Rams are the best team in the league. You can poke holes in every team in the NFL, basically except for this one right now, the LA Rams, where Matthew Stafford, I remember playing Doom. Remember the computer, the first-person shooter, invented first, that and Wolfenstein. In one game, you kill Nazis, in the other, you kill aliens. Maybe kind of the same thing. I remember playing Doom back in the day and entering a cheat code, because the game was hard, and I was 8, maybe a little older, where you would enter God mode and take no damage. Matthew Stafford right now is using the cheat code. He's got the game genie. He's in God mode. Him and Sean McVay making beautiful music together like Mozart and Beethoven or Hall & Oates. You absolutely love to see it if you're a Rams fan or a Rams future is better. They are absolutely tremendous. And then here's Bryce Young. I'm so tired of Bryce Young. Followed the 448 career passing game for him against the Falcons a couple weeks ago with a Humpty Dumpty-sized egg on Monday Night Football against the 49ers. Did I bet the Panthers? Yes. Am I upset about it? Yes. Does that cloud my feelings on Bryce Young? Yes. If you want to bet the Panthers in this game, you are just betting a number. It's a huge number for a team to be favored on the road. No bet for me on the game. If I had to bet the game, I would lay the Rams. But again, massive number for the Rams to be laying on the road against a team that, despite Bryce Young stinking, they are 6-6. They're not absolutely terrible. Yardage props, I hate all of them in this game. Puka's high, Devontae's high, and the Rams run so many tight end formations. I guess Tet McMillan would be my favorite. I'm probably not going to put my own money on it, but Tet McMillan, just to give one out, because I always get tweets from people, what's your bet on the game? If I had to bet one, it would be Tet McMillan over 57.5 receiving yards. Anytime touchdowns, we've got a couple here. So the Rams are constantly shuffling tight ends in and out of the lineup. They play 3 of them. Let's bet the one at the longest odds, and that is Clarissa's brother, Ferguson. Terrence Ferguson. And this guy cashed for us in London. He's running routes. He's getting targets. I think I did Kanata Mumfield to the tune of Cruella DeVille, and I got a bunch of tweets from people. Why don't you do Mumford and Sons? And that's way better. You're all right. So, Kanata, I will wait for you. Kanata Mumfield, anytime touchdown for the LA Rams. Seahawks and the Vikings in Seattle as we move to the afternoon slate. Seattle, an 11.5-point home favorite. Total in the game is 41. J.J. McCarthy out with a concussion, and he didn't report his symptoms until after the game. And for those of you keeping score at home, this is J.J. McCarthy's second injury now where no one knew during the game he was hurt after a terrible performance. I am not insinuating that the Vikings are faking this injury for McCarthy. That is a terrible... I mean that. That's not a joke. I'm not insinuating it. But Kevin O'Connell is losing the benefit of the doubt here because, I believe, that they benched him with this ankles. No quarterback in the history of the NFL has ever missed 6 games with an ankle sprain, except for J.J. McCarthy. And it literally took until Carson Wentz's shoulder was falling off and he needed surgery. And now, wow, J.J. McCarthy's healthy enough to play. What a coinky-dink. Funny how that works. And remember the report from ESPN Vikings reporter Kevin Seifert, who wrote that the reason why Max Brosmer didn't come in on that Thursday night game, Vikings-Chargers, when Carson Wentz was so obviously hurt, was because the Vikings were worried Brosmer was going to look good, and then they couldn't go back to J.J. McCarthy. What an absolute debacle this is for Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings. And here's what I'll say about this game. And I have I'm being sincere. What's probably a dumb opinion about this game. The Vikings loved Brosmer in the preseason and in training camp. And you don't know that because you're not in the weeds like I am. And that's okay. That's why I'm here, right? And I love this stuff. Kevin O'Connell is a quarterback guru. Maybe J.J. McCarthy just stinks. Here's going to be my question for everyone. And the answer can be yes. It can be. I think it's unlikely to be yes. Is there any way that Max Brosmer's worse than J.J. McCarthy? And I bet the Vikings last week. It was a stupid bet, and I heard from a lot of you, and I deserved it. Is there any way he can be worse than J.J. McCarthy? Like, he can. It just feels unlikely to me that that's going to be the case. Now, the Vikings are down a couple offensive linemen in this game. Donovan Jackson's out, their stud rookie guard. Christian Darrisaw is questionable. I think Seattle's going to get bet out as we approach kickoff. This is... Just thinking it is one thing, and then I'm about to say this out loud, and it sounds terrible. I would like to bet the Vikings. Max Brosmer, undrafted rookie quarterback on the road at Seattle. Like, not great. I need a way better number than this. I think this point spread's going to go up. 13 would be a buy point for me, a small bet on the Minnesota Vikings. Again, if the thought process is he can't be worse than McCarthy, then 13 might be a decent bet. Not for a lot of money, small bet for me on Max Brosmer. What a sentence. And the Minnesota Vikings. No anytime touchdowns for me on this game. The prices are all terrible. Tired. JSN over 96.5 receiving yards. If the number is not a 1, you should bet the over. Wired. Justin Jefferson over 56.5 receiving yards. Because really, that's what we need, right? We just need Max Brosmer to be good enough to get Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison the ball. I'll have a small play on Jefferson over 56.5 receiving yards. Bills and the Steelers in Pittsburgh. Buffalo, a 3-point road favorite total, 45.5. And for Pittsburgh, with the way the Ravens looked on Thursday night, on Thanksgiving night, I like the Bengals in that game. Lamar Jackson is clearly not healthy, despite what they say. This is a golden opportunity for Pittsburgh to get back in the race here in the AFC North. They are 3-point home dogs to the Bills. This is another potential win game. It's an afternoon game. We won't know for sure until later, but just keep that in mind that this could be a win game. Dalton Kincaid is questionable for Buffalo, and he's their pass catcher with the most juice, and he's a white tight end, like feels bad. For what it's worth, the Bills did promote Kaleki Latu, which reminds me of the Christmas song. Mela Kameki Maka is a thing to say, a Hawaiian Christmas day. So they did promote a tight end from the practice squad, which doesn't have to mean Kincaid's going to miss. But just like if you need Dalton Kincaid in fantasy today, I'd be a little concerned. And also for Buffalo, both of their starting offensive tackles are out. Seems bad going up against T.J. Watt, Spencer Brown, and Deion Dawkins both out. Aaron Rodgers is starting for the Steelers, despite reportedly having no fewer, this is the verbiage used by insiders, no fewer than 3 fractures in his left wrist. What do you say to that? If the point spread is 3.5, it's not right now, it's 3. If the point spread's 3.5, I'll bet the Steelers. Like Buffalo, the way that Buffalo can lose this game is if T.J. Watt and company take over. And we saw Josh Allen get sacked 8 times in the Bills' last game last Thursday against the Houston Texans. So you know Pittsburgh's pass rushers licking their chops right now with Buffalo down both of its starting tackles. But I have to have 3.5 here. I don't trust Aaron Rodgers with broken bones in his left wrist. And the Steelers should be able to run the ball. But can they throw it at all if the wind is going crazy in this game? And Rodgers obviously feels like he's one hit away from being old Yellard. So no play for me right now. 3.5 would be a bet for me on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Khalil Shakir over 50.5 receiving yards. I like both Steelers running backs, but we don't know who Arthur Smith is going to give the ball to. Anytime touchdowns. Kenny Gainwell for Pittsburgh and Ty Johnson for the Bills. Chargers and the Raiders in Los Angeles. Chargers, 10-point home favorites total, 41. Omarion Hampton, touch. Not back yet, Omarion, for the LA Chargers. He'll be back next week for them. One more ride for Kamani Vidal-Sassoon. You don't look good, we don't look good, as Chargers starting running back. The reports out of Vegas, what a sentence. This could go anywhere, right? About fired offensive coordinator Chip Kelly are insane. Now, Chip Kelly was the offensive coordinator of Ohio State last year when Ohio State won the Natty. Ohio State's going to win the Natty again this year, by the way. Thrashed Michigan yesterday in Ann Arbor. Chip Kelly got paid $6 million to coordinate Pete Carroll's offense. Highest paid coordinator in the league. Fired last week, didn't even make it to Thanksgiving. There are reports that Chip Kelly did not get to run the offense he wanted to run. He's running Pete Carroll's Seattle offense, which is so brain dead, it's crazy. And that Chip Kelly was also botching play calls. Like, Tom Brady's supposed to be in charge of this operation. Hey, Tom, maybe stop flying to Saudi Arabia. Maybe stop and actually focus on the Las Vegas Raiders. And, your day job of calling games for Fox. Greg Olson, not the Fox commentator, the offensive coordinator, is in his third tour of duty right now as Raiders offensive coordinator in his career, which is like, I think as many times as Herb Williams was the interim head coach of the Knicks. Or as the Knicks public address announcer would call him, Herb Williams. I wanted to bet the Raiders in this game. With a new offensive coordinator. Just something different from the trash they were running out there. But it's going to be the same offense if it's Pete Carroll's offense. Honestly, if I had to bet the game, I'd lay the Chargers. No bet for me on this one. Yardage props. Aronde Gadsden Jr. In 2001, I was in a fantasy league. I've been playing fantasy for a long time. I traded Cardinals running back Emmitt Smith and Aronde Gadsden for Marshall Faulk right before the season started. Marshall Faulk won MVP. Why am I telling you this? To brag about playing fantasy football for over 20 years. Aronde Gadsden, over 48.5 receiving yards. And I don't know if the Raiders are going to use their rookies here. I'll have a small bet on Jack Besh, their second-round wide receiver. It's a huge number. Jack Besh to score a touchdown. Sunday Night Football, Broncos and the Commies. Super Bowl 22 rematch the world has been waiting for. Somewhere, Ricky Nattiel nodding. Broncos, 6.5-point road favorites total, 43.5. Patrick Surtain, best corner in the league, returns for Denver as the Broncos come off the bye. Marcus Mariota starts again for the Commanders, with Jaden Daniels maybe back next week. Terry McLaurin returns for the Washington Commanders. I think Denver will win and improve to 10-2. I think Denver is going to win the AFC West. I think I will lose my bet to Sal Licata, placed on BT and Sal. And Denver might be the number one seed in home field advantage in the AFC playoffs, which will present us with a golden opportunity to bet a better team against them with a better quarterback on the money line. I'm looking forward to that. As far as tonight's game goes, I do think Denver will win. Point spread feels a little big. I do like the Commanders plus 6.5. That is a bet for me. I guess that along with Houston might be my favorite bets of the day. Yardage prop, Troy Franklin over 48.5 receiving yards. Anytime touchdown, Jeremy McNichols for the Washington Commanders. And just a quick thought on Monday Night Football, Giants and Patriots. You'll have to tune in to You Bet or You Bet tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. Find it in podcast form for my full thoughts on this game. But I will say, with Shane Bozo being fired by the New York Football Giants, and the left side of the Patriots line being out with Will Campbell and Jared Wilson, and Jackson Dart back at quarterback, with memories of Super Bowls 42 and 46 dancing through my head like sugar plum fairies, and the number being 7.5, I have bet the New York Football Giants plus 7.5 to cover tomorrow night in Foxborough. Full prop thoughts coming tomorrow on You Bet or You Bet. Coming up on the other side, fantasy football breakdown for every game and a deeper dive into props. 888-808-1019 is the number. 888-808-1019. It's You Bet or You Bet on The Fan with me, Nick Kostos, and you, whoever the hell you are. Presented by BetMGM.
Holy cow!
Monday Night Football is on WFAN.
He does throw it down the left sideline for Winston.
The Giants kick off December in Foxborough, taking on the Patriots. 8:15 tomorrow night.
Jameis reaching, fighting it is in for the touchdown!
Bob Papa and Carl Banks have all the play-by-play on The Fan, 101.9 FM, and always live on the free Odyssey app.
This holiday season, find excellence in every detail in a new Volvo from Volvo Cars Ramsey. Now find excellent offers with your first lease payment waived. Lease a new 2026 Volvo XC90 B5 Plus all-wheel drive, $638 per month for 36 months at Volvo Cars Ramsey, where it's all about you. Call 833-853-2975 for lease details. MSRP $66,845. VIN T1430393. Loaner vehicle 3,727 miles, $3,700 down payment. Tax title registration extra, 0 security deposit. Ends 1130-25.
You can't count on much these days, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday this season, all the way through the AFC Championship game. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today.
I'm Colonel Callahan of the New Jersey State Police. If you're caught driving impaired, you'll face hefty fines, a suspended license, and maybe even jail time. Worse yet, you might cause a crash that could devastate someone's life. Be responsible. Don't drive impaired. We are all counting on you.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon.
Hello?
You won't believe where I am.
Are you running?
Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel?
I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture. And then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Are you like everybody else in the world who has no idea what to get everyone for the holidays? Well, you're in luck. We got you. Hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Because with hands-free Skechers slip-ins, you just step into them and they're on. There's no bending down, no touching, no fuss. Plus, Skechers slip-ins come in everyone's favorite styles and colors. And you can get slip-ins everywhere stylish footwear is sold, including a Skechers store. Or if you're too busy to shop in person, just get them online at Skechers.com, Amazon, and more.
Are you tired of online threats? Then get an antivirus. It's the only online protection you will ever need.
Disclaimer, an antivirus is just half protection online. It will not protect you from snoopers or encrypt your online traffic. So this Black Friday, get better online protection with NordVPN. NordVPN will encrypt your traffic, protect you from malware and phishing, and stop annoying ads. Get the NordVPN Black Friday deal with 73% off and enjoy 3 extra months.
Hey, New Jersey, now's the time to enroll in quality, affordable health coverage through Get Covered New Jersey. All plans provide free preventive care, coverage for prescriptions, emergency services, and more. Plus, 8 in 10 get financial help to lower monthly costs. If you have questions or need help enrolling, Get Covered New Jersey is here for you. Hurry, open enrollment is happening now. Enroll by December 31st for January 1st coverage at getcovered.nj.gov. Getcovered.nj.gov.
We've got more sports talk coming up on The Fan.
Looking for the lowest price on name brand tires? Get to Town Fair Tire and get the guaranteed lowest price on any name brand tire. Nobody beats a Town Fair Tire deal. Nobody.
Town Fair Tire. Injured in an accident? You need help. The Rothenberg Law Firm. Lawyers that have built a legacy of victory over 5 decades, winning billions for their clients. The Rothenberg Law Firm. Call 1-800-624-8888 or visit injurylawyer.com.
Makita's built for the pros who show up early, who don't do shortcuts, only precise cuts. With tools built to last, job after job, year after year. Performance that pays off. Because when the job calls for the best, you answer. And when you need the best, you call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
That's the sound of James adding long-lasting Gain scent boosters to his laundry this morning. Several hours later, James sniffs the irresistible scent of Gain on his shirt. Gain. Several hours later, James has even caught the attention of his mother-in-law, and she never gives him attention.
Ooh, you smell amazing, James.
Oh, thanks, Mom. I love you too.
I never said that.
Add Gain scent boosters to your laundry. Add joy to your day.
Your friends pretend they know sports. WFAN actually does. Get smarter, louder, and way more annoying at watch parties. The Fan, 101.9 FM, and always streaming on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps. It's Sunday morning. Time to plug into everything NFL. Time for your best bets and fantasy fix. It's time for You Better You Bet, presented by BetMGM. Here's your host, Nick Kostos.
Indeed, it is I, Nick Kostos, here with you, wherever you are, on the fan, on this glorious Week 13 NFL Sunday. 888-808-1019 is the number, 888-808-1019. All right, fantasy and prop betting nuggets for every game as we dive deep. How deep? We'll start with the Browns and the Niners in a second. Just want to offer, because I just did a refresh of the BetMGM odds board. Indy is now down to 3, so we're no longer at 3.5 against Houston. If you like the Texans, I do. Like, find a 3.5 and bet Houston plus 3.5. If you like the Colts, 3 is the number that you'd like to lay with Indianapolis. You don't have to agree with me. I can be wrong. Do whatever the hell you want. Just give yourself the best chance to win. So if you like Houston, you want to bet plus 3.5. If you like Indy, 3 is the number you would like to lay. All right, Browns and the Niners. I'm going to do actually one more refresh here, and I just want to see what the Cleveland weather is looking like for this game. Let's see. Okay, here we go. 22 mile per hour winds. Doesn't look like the wind's going to be that terrible, but there is snow expected on the ground. I don't trust Brock Purdy, even if the wind's not bad. I don't know where Ricky Pearsall is. He's playing for the Niners, but he's not involved in the offense, which is very upsetting for me and all my Ricky Pearsall shares. I think the only Niners you can really trust are obviously Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle. For the Browns, I think the only Browns you can start with any confidence are Harold Fannin, and Quinshon Judkins. I like Dylan Sampson, but he's more like you like him in Dynasty. Jerry Jeudy stinks out loud. Jaguars and the Titans. Liam Cohen, one of the brothers, seems hell-bent on not letting Trevor Lawrence throw 50 times per game. Travis Etienne is touching the ball an absolute ton. He is the fulcrum of the Jaguars' offense. It might be a little worrisome today against Jeffrey Simmons and the Titans' defensive line, but you're starting Travis Etienne with confidence. I'm starting Brian Thomas Jr. everywhere because I drafted him really high and I need him. He's been obviously an epic disappointment this year. I think you can start Jacoby Myers. I think you could start Parker Washington in deeper leagues if you need them. I'm not exceptionally excited about it. I am a little pumped to see how Tennessee's rookie pass catchers will do in this game. Alec Ayamaner, Chimere DK. We've been all over DK this season. He's cashed a couple anytime touchdowns for us. And rookie tight end Gunnar Helm. These are all guys that if you're in a keeper league, you're in a dynasty league, and they're out there on the wire, I think they need to be owned. Seriously. Helm, DK, Ayamaner for the Tennessee Titans. Colts and the Texans. C.J. Stroud back for Houston. Daniel Jones is going to play on a fractured fibula. I have no idea how that's going to go. Woody Marks, I don't know if he's very good, but he gets a ton of touches for the Houston Texans. You're starting Nico Collins, obviously, even going up against Sauce Gardner. I love me some Jaden Higgins. For the Indianapolis Colts, I think you'll get a big Jonathan Taylor game here. And just keep in mind, even though Houston's defense sacked Josh Allen 8 times last week in the Texans-Bills game, James Cook did get loose a couple times, including on a first-quarter touchdown run. So I do think you'll see a lot of Jonathan Taylor in this game, especially with Daniel Jones hobbled. So I think JT bounces back from a rough game last week for him against Kansas City. If you have to play, it's tough to sit Michael Pittman. It's tough to sit Tyler Warren. Keep in mind, again, Warren questionable with an illness. Alec Pierce is my guy in the Colts pass-catching group. Saints and the Dolphins. For Miami, it's the same thing every week. It's Jalen Waddle, it's Devon Achane, and it's Darren Waller. Ollie Gordon, you can play up you need a touchdown from Ollie Gordon. And for New Orleans, I hope you stash Devin Neal. You can definitely play him today, along with Chris Olave, Juwan Johnson. I actually picked up Taysom Hill to start in one league today, a tight end. Alvin Kamara out. Maybe Taysom gets a little more carries down by the goal line. We shall see. I think Taysom Hill is a little viable today for the New Orleans Saints. Falcons and the Jets. You're obviously playing Bijan. You can play Tyler Algier. The Falcons do not want Kirk Cousins to throw the ball a ton, and that is smart on their part. For the Falcons pass catchers, it's Kyle Pitts, it's Darnell Mooney, and nothing else, and I don't even like Pitts or Mooney. This does profile as a fun spot for Breece Hall, and I spent a lot of time waxing poetic about the upside of both A.D. Mitchell and John Mechie. I think if you're in like a deep enough league, you can start both of them, maybe not on the same team, but I think both guys are startable in fantasy today, A.D. Mitchell and John Mechie. Cards and the Bucks. I teased something earlier about Tampa receivers. Unfortunately, it is not about Mike Evans. Jalen McMillan, mid-round pick last year, who looked good as a rookie. He had a neck injury. He has not practiced yet this season. He's going to practice this week. If you are in a deep league or a dynasty league and Jalen McMillan's out there, as Lloyd and Harry said in Dumb and Dumber, pick him up. Jacoby Brissett averaging 50 pass attempts over his last 3 games. I think you can expect to see a lot of pass attempts, which helps Marvin Harrison. It helps Michael Wilson. It helps Trey McBride. I don't like Greg the Human Dortch flame on with Marvin Harrison back. Bam Knight, I think, profiles as Arizona's number 1 running back. You can play Bucky Irving today, but keep your expectations low. I think we'll see Rashad White and Sean Tucker mix in as well. Rams and the Panthers, same story as always for the Rams. Stafford, Puka, Devontae, Kyron should all be started. Make sure you're stashing Blake Corum. For Carolina, kind of like in the critically acclaimed 1998 Japanese role-playing game Xenogears, when Rico gets off to a huge start in the Kislev sequence of the game and then kind of fades into obscurity. We're not hitting him with the Rico that much anymore. Chuba Hubbard is starting to emerge again in Carolina's backfield. You can still start Rico Dowdle, but this is starting to look like it could be more of a split between Rico and Chuba Hubbard. And if you want to start any Carolina receivers, I think it's just Teteroa McMillan. Vikings and the Seahawks, we need Max Brosmer to support Justin Jefferson. I don't know if he can, but you can't sit JJ. You can sit Jordan Addison if you want to. I'm playing Aaron Jones in a couple big leagues. I will take the risk. For Seattle, it's a Ken Walker game, it's a Zach Charbonnet game, and it's always a JSN game. Bills and the Steelers, start James Cook, start Khalil Shakir. We don't know if Dalton Kincaid is going to play. For Pittsburgh, start Jalen Warren. You can start Kenny Gainwell as well. Everyone runs on the Buffalo Bills. You're starting DK Metcalf, but lower expectations today against the Buffalo Bills defense and potential wins in Pittsburgh. Raiders and the Chargers, one last ride for Kamani Vidal with Omari and Hampton expected back next week. You can start Ladd, you can start Quentin Johnson, Oronde Gadsden, and Keenan Allen. For the Raiders, it's just Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty. Maybe we see the Raiders rookies get more involved, but with Boomer, he's not even a Boomer, man. Like Pete Carroll, tough to trust. Broncos and Commies, you can start Terry McLaurin. You lower your expectations going up against Patrick Surtain. Could be a nice Deebo Samuel game. Chris Rodriguez, my running back of choice for the Commanders. Start RJ Harvey. Start Troy Franklin. Start Cortland Sutton. And that does it for the Week 13 NFL Sunday edition of You Better You Bet here on The Fan. Football Sunday with my good friend, the great Mark Malusis, coming up next. So until we meet again, dear listener and dear viewer, shout out to everyone watching on YouTube. The national edition of You Better You Bet later this morning at 11 a.m. Tomorrow, the weekday edition, 4 p.m. Eastern. And next Sunday on these airwaves at 8 a.m. And a reminder, follow me on Instagram at the Kostos, TheKostos. I am Nick Kostos, wishing you minimal sweats, winning bets, and the absolute very best of luck. Let's get it today, Week 13, NFL Sunday.